Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan. It is Wednesday the 10th of December. Thank you so much for joining me. We're tracking some unsettled weather over the days ahead. We've got a colder change coming in for the lower South Island as we go into Thursday PM and Friday AM. We've got a subtropical low to the north of New Zealand. A possible tropical cyclone this weekend up around Vanuatu poses no threat to New Zealand, but we will cover that for Vanuatu, Fiji and Tonga. And then next week, spring returns with a burst of windy westerlies and heavy west coast rain due to a storm south of the country. So quite a few things to talk about, but at the moment, fairly quiet, although we've got a number of wind directions, as you're going to see in a moment. Some high cloud passing over the South Island. There is a southerly change coming through, a few showers coming in to the south east corner of the South Island this morning. Mostly sunny around the North Island with high cloud just moving offshore now thanks to that subtropical low. You might have noticed the high cloud around the top of the North Island over the past few days. Sometimes it breaks our weather forecast because it'll say show a cloudy icon, even though it's mostly sunny, but you can see the whole sky is covered in a high cloud. So it's kind of that borderline area between whether it's cloudy or sunny, but most of that cloud just moving away offshore. High pressure is building in the Tasman Sea, and that is pushing some of that cloud away from the North Island. Although the southerly change coming in will bring some more back to the lower part of the North Island. So look at all the different wind directions. You've got a northeasterly coming into the northeast corner. You've got around Auckland, south to southwesterly flow. Around Cook Strait, you've actually got both for a time. You've got nor'westers turning to southerlies, and then southeasterlies, southerlies around the South Island. So all sorts of wind directions as we're sort of in between the high pressure line out to the east of the Chatham Islands, the subtropical low to the north, and high pressure just there to our west. So Thursday afternoon and evening, that's when this colder change arrives into the lower part of the South Island. So you'll see your temperatures going down as that cold front approaches. The big high out over Tasmania still stretches out towards the top of New Zealand. That low, the subtropical one, getting weaker with every day. There only might be a risk of a shower around East Cape, getting down maybe sort of to Gisborne area, but otherwise dry there, and a couple of isolated showers around coastal parts of Otago, maybe a little bit further inland as well. Then that wet weather arrives going in towards nighttime. Early Friday morning, or at least 7 o'clock Friday morning, the polar boundary brushing over Dunedin and the southeast corner of Southland, but by lunchtime, it'll be gone. It'll be already out to sea, and now your airflow coming out of Australia, so you'll notice a temperature going up. So it's not a major blast, but it's enough to be noticed by some of you. And really, probably the big change for most places on Friday is the whole country's got a southerly airflow. So that reduces the humidity. And for those of you at the top of the country in eastern areas where it's been very hot over the past week, there should be some sort of temperature drop, except for around Waikato, Bay of Plenty, because the southerly, especially as it comes down off the central plateau, actually heats up. And so even though it's a southerly, it can be quite hot at this time of the year. And that can even affect parts of Auckland as well. But we do expect the humidity to be down. Lunchtime Saturday, high pressure smack bang over us, so that's a nice change. Light winds, especially for the weekend with Christmas parades and things like that. So weather is looking good on Saturday, but if you're on the Chatham Islands, there is that cold southerly. That'll be with you in the morning and up till about lunchtime, and then gradually as the day wears on, high pressure also moves out eastwards. Now let's go up to the tropics. This is early Sunday morning, around about sunrise. This low pressure zone is not major, but it is potentially a tropical cyclone here by the time we get to Sunday morning, but it is mostly offshore. So yes, there is some heavy rain. We're talking 300 millimeters or so near the center there, but based on this map, it shows actually Vanuatu not really being affected as badly as it could be. So we'll be monitoring that over the next couple of days ahead. Back to New Zealand, this is 1 o'clock Sunday. We've got a few showers, potentially around Taranaki, Wanganui area. It's a little bit far out to be locking in a shower, but that is possible here. Otherwise dry with high pressure, subtropical winds coming down, which means Sunday will be quite warm to hot around parts of New Zealand. Look at Tasmania though, big cool down happening over there. Now as we go on to Sunday evening, I'm just showing you this one because it shows the three different things. Polar change coming to Tasmania, high pressure over New Zealand with the northwesterly winds picking up, and a few showers or downpours around the North Island, the central North Island, and a possible tropical cyclone up here between Vanuatu and Fiji, out at sea. So that's not a bad thing. That's kind of where you want it to be rather than over land. Monday, 1 o'clock. So we've still got that low pressure zone north of New Zealand. It may be weakening a wee bit now because it's running into high pressure. This high pressure belt right next to the Chatham Islands stretches all the way up to about Tonga. So as soon as that low drifts a little further south, it gets shredded by that high pressure system higher up in the atmosphere. And so it turns into more of a rain event for them. In New Zealand, strong winds. Could be up to severe gales, so watch out for those Met Service wind warnings. They could easily be around on Monday. Heavy west coast rain may also lead to rain warnings as well. And we've got the gust map here, so showing you through the Southern Alps. This is really inland at the moment, so that is a good thing. It's not looking like it's pushing out too far across all the more populated areas, but it certainly does look gusty inland through the mountains with gusts over 120, 130 kilometres an hour there. And we might be seeing gusts of sort of 80 k's an hour around Christchurch and maybe around Dunedin as well. Again, it's a little too far out to really be precise, but you just generally see through the mountains gusty winds there on Monday. And back to the tropics, this is lunchtime Tuesday now of next week. Low pressure just south of Fiji. Rain though, actually now pushing in around Tonga. But again, this is not looking too worrying. You're talking about rainfall totals of 80 millimetres in a day. So that's a little heavy, but it's hopefully not too problematic. But that's just something we'll be monitoring over the next couple of days because this is a funny little system. It's sort of, sometimes it looks like a tropical cyclone, other times it doesn't. So it's in a funny part of the world where it's got all the right conditions to grow, but because of the really big high pressure zones near New Zealand, that's affecting what's happening in the tropics. But look at this map. Tuesday of next week. So wintry weather passes over Tasmania on Monday, moves out into the Tasman Sea on Tuesday, and then by probably late morning, certainly going into the afternoon, this comes back again. And this is colder than the Friday one that's coming up this week because the polar boundary at this stage may go right up over the top of the South Island. So heavy west coast rain, the gusty wind moves northward, so the North Island's mostly dry, hot, and not too cloudy, but the clouds may arrive by nighttime. We do expect that cold front to move into the North Island as we get into the nighttime part. And there may also be, again, too far out to lock in, but there may be some snow around the mountains as well, and the ranges getting down to several hundred metres, but we'll have to monitor that closer to the time. This is not a major snow event down to low levels, but this is definitely a big storm south of New Zealand and bringing up a surge of what I would call spring-like weather. All right, now let's have a look at the rainfall. So not a lot of rain coming, despite that low around northern New Zealand. Pretty dry for the top half of the North Island and the eastern side. Similar story for much of Canterbury as well, but there is heavy west coast rain coming up within the next 7 days. Some of that spills over into the east and around the western, southwestern part of the North Island, and most of that comes in around sort of Tuesday, although there could be those showers around Sunday as well in the lower North Island. So a few moving parts to our weather as we head towards Christmas. I'll give you a Christmas Day forecast either tomorrow or Friday. It won't be locked in, but you might as well see what I'm seeing in the long-range weather maps and we can see how it changes because the Southern Ocean is very unpredictable this year and that could really change things, especially with the timing of air pressure systems. So we might see a high coming for Christmas, but the timing of it might change. That's the part that I've got to look for as a forecaster. So we'll bring that to you as well over the next day or two. Thanks for joining me. Catch you again tomorrow, Thursday.